Come on in, Survivor fans, for the best damn Survivor podcast on YouTube. I am Dave. This is my brother Drew.
Hey guys.
And yeah, we'll be going over episode 7 of Survivor. There's gonna be blood. Love that title. Got me so excited when I saw that title on the PVR. I was like, oh, cannot wait to watch this live. Yeah. Early thoughts on the episode?
It was real good.
Fair enough. Yeah, a lot happens this episode. Without going into spoilers, we see someone use their shot in the dark. We finally figure out what Erica's decision was. And a real good challenge, but we'll get to that. So essentially the episode starts with day 14 on Exile Island with Erica and her choice. Spoiler alert, she decides to smash the hourglass. What did you think of that decision?
I mean, I thought that's what she had to do in her position, especially like she wasn't aware of it, right? But you know, we're sidelined back at camp and everyone's like, yeah, I think Erica, yeah, guys, Erica, okay, cool, Erica, right? Everyone was kind of on the same page, right? Sent her away, out of sight, out of mind. You know, it's easier emotionally if you don't have to look at that person for a bit, but you can just like, yeah, okay, we're getting her out, right? Yeah, I personally think where she was in the game, she had to make this decision, and I'm happy that she did. It was interesting how they played it, you know, when they bring her back and sort of reveal that decision in front of everybody, you know, essentially, like Jeff says, like, why would you throw away an advantage? Like, it would have to be like Ricard or Shan there for the night and being like, okay, I'm going to trust that, you know, my homeboy or my homegirl is going to keep me safe when I'm going to come back, and I'm not going to do this. Do you know what I mean? But that's the only situation. If you had like some crazy tie to somebody, I think, I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like if I was Erica, I would smash it. If I was in Erica's position, I would definitely smash it. But yeah, I do get it. I'd have to be super comfortable with where I am in the game to not smash it. And
so
I can't.
So not super long, but top 3. Who would you be to not smash the hourglass in the game right now?
I feel like Sydney wouldn't, because she was kind of arrogant. Like I don't think she would.
Okay.
I don't think Shan would. I think that was a good call you said with Shan.
I don't think Nasir would.
Yeah.
He's got an idol too, right?
Well, you think well, Nasir's actually a good thing to bring up, because Nasir was the other person that had the choice with Erica, right? It could have been Nasir or Erica. So if Nasir goes,
yeah,
I think if Nasir goes instead of Erica, like last episode, he's smashing that hourglass.
You think so?
I think he would. I think as soon as you get slighted like that, like, I don't know. Nasir plays hard.
I mean, here's the other thing. If you're on that island, out of those, because Nasir and Erica were, right, that was the choice between the two, right? So, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I may be mistaken here, but whoever goes kind of on exile is not safe by definition, right?
Yeah.
So then why wouldn't you give yourself immunity by smashing the, like, it? Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand. I'll have to go back and double check my facts.
Well, like the rocks were chosen the rocks were chosen randomly. Nasir and Erica, you know, drew rocks to get that position. So it's not like they were chosen to be voted out.
Right. Winning,
so losing. I think if luck has it, the wrong person gets put in that spot. I could see, yeah, like Shan, for example, not breaking it. I think you were also right with Ricard.
What were the rocks for initially? To sit out from the challenge?
2 rocks were gray. They had to sit out. Right. And then it was the other 2 teams, the yellow and blue. And that was the dig the giant ball out of the ground.
Giant ball. The Indiana Jones. The Indiana
exactly.
Jones
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the merge was essentially as randomized as it could have been.
Sure.
They just added those 2 gray rocks, so that way the winning tribe had a choice and they could introduce the smashing the hourglass mechanic. But But I think if the wrong people drew gray rocks, I don't think there's a scenario where everyone is always going to break that hourglass. There's a few that wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. In
So
this case,
then,
though,
yeah,
we can agree that Erica's best decision was what she made
right.
for us.
So essentially, we go straight to the challenge, and Erica gets brought in from her 2 days on exile, talks about how hard it was. Um, And then Jeff goes and explain the advantage you got. And her story is kind of weird. She goes, I got a visitor in the middle of the night. Like she's trying to be kind of cagey about it. And so she says it allows me to go back in time. And Jeff's like, okay, you're doing a bad job. Let me just explain it. Okay. So what she got was, and he goes into the explanation of it. And I thought that was so funny. She was trying to do her version of it. And Jeff's like, okay, so I know she just told you a story. Here's the actual rules because she didn't mention any of that. So yeah, she chose to smash the hourglass. Everyone has to, all the safe people get new buffs, and all the unsafe people have to drop their buffs because there's no guarantee they're gonna make it. So it's by the way, let's just get right into the challenge. What did you think?
Dude, I thought of Dwight Schrute. Uh,
Explain the challenge for the listeners.
oh my gosh. Okay. So it was basically a block stacking challenge. And we've seen this in the past a bunch of times. For example, one person's got to have their left hand on the pull cord where they stack blocks, balanced on a little panel on the right side. And it's all about dexterity. And I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this one, Dave, but I've never seen one like this before. So it's essentially the same kind of a thing, but it's like a like a spinning cake tray, and you're piling blocks on it, but you're piling blocks with your feet. So it's like this crazy acrobatic core workout where they're all like gripping like a bar stool with their hands and like leaning back with their upper body, to counterweight their legs, and then balance their legs, hold a block between their feet, and place it on like a circular cake tray thing, and then manipulate the cake tray and do like a first row, second row, third row. And then the part that melted my brain is at the end, take a long shaft of like metal, like I don't know, like 2 feet long or something, right? With a flag on it. Grab it with your freaking feet, get it up over those 3 layers of blocks without knocking down. And it's like a tiny like half-inch hole. And I was like, and well, I mean, can we spoiler alert the ending or?
Well, really quickly, I just
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
do a couple of fun facts about the challenge itself.
yeah.
The challenge is called The Game is Afoot. It has been used in 3 other seasons: Survivor San Juan del Sur, Survivor Cambodia, and Heroes, Healers, Hustlers.
Dude, it's an amazing challenge.
It's a good one.
It was the first time I've seen it. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, who wins, Drew?
Well, Ricard wins, but
It's a nail biter, though.
there was, dude, Evie had the lead initially, but I really thought Sydney was going to get it when she grabbed the pole like a pair of thong sandals, like with the feet. I was like, oh no, homegirl's got this. She's got it. And then I was like, oh, um, and I mean, they highlighted it. You could see that she was disappointed, and rightfully so. Like I really thought she had it, as much as like, she's maybe not my favorite player as a challenge beast. Respect,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair. That's fair. So, Ricard wins. He gets the immunity necklace. Always love seeing the first immunity necklace of the season. Um, I mean, it's nothing fancy. Um, Hold on. Let me see. Did I have my? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I got screwed up on my notes. So Jeff reminds people about the shot in the dark before everyone heads back to camp.
right.
Um, and that's when the scrambling starts. I wrote here Tekken 5, Danny, Shan, Sydney start discussing Xander, then Evie, mostly Evie. So Evie seems to be targeted almost immediately going back to camp.
Yeah, she did. Uh,
Then
I think it's just because she's a high threat player, right? Like people recognize that, like she's got relationships, that she's smart. Do you know what I mean?
Well, when you look at the tribes, we got Ricard, who was just he's kind of doing his own thing, but Danny, Deshaun, Sydney are all former Luvu, so Evie just seems like the odd one out of that six people, right? Or five people that are now or six people that are now not safe that they thought they were.
Right.
So right, Nasir is with them. So there's like four Luvu people. So Evie's just the most expendable because it's like who cares about Yasa? So her name gets thrown out pretty hard.
Right.
Then Leanna decides to use her advantage because like there's plenty of buzz around going like buzz around Evie, and then Leanna and Shan have a bit of a talk where Shan says the title of the episode, which I always try and watch out for.
Right.
Leanna's talking about, okay, who do we vote out? Do we do Evie? Do I use my advantage? Like, I feel like Xander's an issue. And then Shan's like, there's gonna be blood. There's no way around it. Like, there's gonna be blood. We're gonna have to vote someone out, and it's probably gonna suck. Not vote out Xander, but steal his advantage if she so chooses. Xander gets wind of this and decides to bring Evie under his wing a little bit and goes, I'll help you out. And I wrote this line down too, where Evie is like so touched. It shows a talking head of her leaning up against a rock. She's like, I'm so touched. I don't know if I do that for him. Cold words, but
Well,
you got to think Evie and Xander have to be tight now. You have to think this is a thing that Xander's like, Evie's never going to backstab me if I do this.
but it's not like she said I wouldn't do that for him.
She said she
It'd be
didn't
like,
know.
but I think that's I think that's the real human question. Like that's part of what makes the show good. Sometimes it's like, you know, I mean, we've done it. Man, could I do that challenge? What if we were on blood versus water? You know, how would our family fare? What would we try and pull? What would we do? Do you know what I mean? I think that's kind of what makes Survivor relatable. It's like, oh, would I do that? Would I not? You know, like,
I am not going to lie, Drew. I
yeah.
have given our family in all possible iterations, like
Oh,
me
I
and
know you
you,
have.
me and Jess, you and mom. I have given the blood versus water like experiment. I have thought about that more than I would like to
Run
actually admit, but it's
permutation
something I think
algorithm.
about almost weekly. Blood versus water. Who would backstab who? Who would be super tight? Who would be clever? Who would screw up? I think about that a lot. It occupies more of my brain than I'd like to admit. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just such a Survivor fan that I'm just constantly being like, yeah, what would I do there? You know,
So,
like
but I mean, I guess that's my point. I think everybody is probably, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So after Xander tells Evie he's gonna save her, Xander has this talking head where he's talking about Liana, and he's like, yeah, Liana's a shark. He's like, I'm a shark that's like above the water where you can see my fin. Liana is like a deeper, like she's more undercover shark.
Right.
So then I mean I started writing commercial breaks into my notes for some reason, just so everyone, if they're following the episode along, they can keep up. So we get back, and that's when I'm pretty sure Evie tells Xander what Liana's idol does.
Advantage, but yeah.
Yeah. Or advantage does. And then yeah, Xander talks to Danny and goes, you know, I'm gonna save Evie tonight. Just so you know, I have an advantage. Because he knows the cat's out of the bag with his advantage too.
Right.
So he just tries to tell
He
Danny.
gets in front of
And
you.
yeah. I wrote in my notes here, Xander tries to commit chaos. He just legit just starts telling everyone, like, hey, I'm gonna do this. To anyone who will listen, just to see what kind of water, or, you know, what kind of stuff he can stir up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I think Xander, I like, he seemed like a strong player in the beginning. but there was a couple times where I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. Now he really seems to be kind of coming into it, right? Like, and especially going back through, like, now that we're talking about this and thinking about that, like, this is before Tribal in the episode. Having watched it twice now this week, I can definitely see, some of the reasoning for, what happened and when, right? So,
So here's possibly what I think is maybe kind of the linchpin, like the most important kind of like scene in the episode.
yeah.
Is so you have Xander Evie in the middle of like a path, rifling through Xander's bag, and then Liana walks up, and Liana's like, okay, so what are we going on, fella Yasa team? Like, what are we doing? And Xander knows Liana, like they both know each other and what they have and what they're planning doing. But Liana and Xander are, they're still Yasa. So he tells Liana straight to her face, I'm going to play the idol for Evie. And then Liana's like, oh no, not Evie. And man, I'm so sad she's getting targeted. Oh no. And then, yeah, so that I thought was kind of the linchpin scene where both of them, like it's like De Niro, Pacino, and Heat, where they both know what the other one's role is, and they're trying to play chess, but they can't. Like it's just it's acting from both of them, because I don't think Evie fully knows what's going on at this point. And yeah, Xander and Liana are like, yeah, so I'm gonna do this. Oh, really? Thanks, Xander. Good job. Oh no, Evie's going home. It's just this episode I really didn't like Liana. I've got some opinions, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
And then I wrote down here, Deshaun and Sydney realize their names are being put out there. Sydney has a talking head where she's like, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm just too self-absorbed and I just always think my name is being thrown out there because everyone talks about me because I'm so awesome. Not a Sydney fan either. Anyway.
No.
Yeah, I really didn't like. She was like that. I feel like I'm getting thrown out, but maybe that's just because everyone talks about me so much. Oh my god. Okay. Hold on. Where we go? Wait, did I? Hold on. I skipped. Wait, did I get my notes screwed up? Never mind. We're back on track. So after that, we essentially just go straight to Tribal.
We sure do.
Now this is when I realize how much time is left in the episode, and I'm like, this is gonna be a good Tribal. Like I could feel it in my bones. Like I paused, I went and got a new drink, I went to the bathroom, sat down, and I was like, this is gonna be a good Tribal. Can't wait. Here we go.
Brings his hands on Sean Evanson. Yep.
Yeah, it was so good.
Here we go.
So I mean, do you want to maybe start us off with some Tribal? Maybe before everything starts to go down?
Well, I mean, the first thing that Jeff mentions, he's like, wow, hey guys, let's take a second just to take this all in, right? As people are coming in lighting their torches and stuff, he's like kind of marveling, like,
yeah,
wow, it's like the first time some of y'all have seen Christmas, right? Like,
yeah,
some of you never been here, never had to deal with this, right? And he just kind of sits, takes a knee, and be like, hey, all right, everybody take a breath. We're here. Let's do this.
6 people had to get their torches lit for the first time, and we're at episode 7.
Yeah.
Like,
what is it?
I loved when Jeff was like, yeah, let's just drink it in. This would be day 15. No, day 14.
14, right? Yeah, okay, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Just double check.
Yeah, and it
it's all day 14. This is one day.
Yeah, so I mean it's interesting. Like I think they go into the stuff around like Xander, Evie, and Liana early on, do they not?
Yeah, well, I think Evie points out that she's kind of the odd one out.
Evie, sorry.
Evie. Deshaun talks a bit. And this is when I'm pretty sure this is when Xander Oh, no, they talk about Liana's advantage, and Liana pulls out the piece of paper and decides to read it.
She does.
So just to be clear, she can ask one survivor one of two questions.
Do you have an advantage? Do you have an idol? And if the
That's
answer
right.
is yeah, they have to give it to her.
Yes. If the answer is no, you get nothing.
Yeah.
You still get your vote. You just don't get anything. You just read out a piece of paper and asked a question, and that's it. And that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Mission Impossible style. It explodes after reading.
right. So that's when Xander decides to pull out his idol and say he's gonna play it for Evie.
Yes.
So what happens here? Do you wanna say it?
Oh well. I'm not sure where you're going with this because there's a
Oh,
couple.
Tribal
There's a.
goes live. Tribal goes live.
Oh
We have
yeah,
a live tribal, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah. It sure does. And like Jeff sits back, not kind of sits back, but he was like, and that comment mid span where he's like, "Wow, I have the best seat for this," and that's what made me think. So, and maybe this is something that's been going on for a while, and something I'm wondering because, like, if you go back right to the first episode this season, right, that pan back where you can see the magnitude of the crew that's there to make the show, right? Um, when I was watching this tribal, because it's um, obviously like I watch My Survivor on Amazon Prime. It's usually on by the next morning on Thursday. I watch some of it on my lunch break, but of course I had a message from you the night before being like, you know, top 10 tribals of all time. So I was geared up, ready, mentally, emotionally for awesome, when I started watching it. And the thing that I noticed was like the camera, like, and I wonder about this, how they edit it and like how live that is. But when they're having conversations at tribal, you'll see Jeff ask someone a question, it'll go to their face, and you'll see, another player that it affects, and they'll make a facial gesture. And it's so I'm like, my question is, or my curiosity is, are there like, if there's 11 players, are there 11 cameras back there, like one at every player to catch everything? I feel like the answer could be yes, but maybe
Yeah.
through the magic of television, maybe no. I
Well,
don't know, but
every survivor is essentially assigned a cameraman back at camp. So every cameraman is essentially assigned a survivor. Like you're following this person around all day. Someone will come and relieve you in the middle of the night or something, and just don't film the survivors going to the bathroom. That's pretty much it, right? The cameraman, they're like, follow this person around all day. Someone will come and
or
relieve you in 8 hours. It's probably like 3 shifts a day, maybe two. Maybe they maybe camera guys cover the other one if two people are having a conversation. Yeah, you can get out of here. We both don't need to be covering this. Or maybe they're just told to just follow their survivor. So I would believe it to be true because the editing, like when like Ricard gets asked a question and it shows Shan reaction, that is editing in. That is,
sure,
there's a camera on Ricard the whole time and there's a camera on Shan all the time, and they
right.
just splice it together at the right time. Or sometimes they use footage. Maybe they ask Heather a question and Shan gives a reaction, but they were like, no, Shan would have reacted that way to what Ricard said earlier. So we're gonna put that facial expression in there
You
to
think
tell
they do
that
that?
story. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they do it a lot, but
I
it's
wouldn't be
reality TV.
surprised.
It happens a lot.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised either, but I guess that was the thing that happened in my brain. And my hope would be that it would literally be like,
Yeah.
the actual reaction of that player, right? Just even for the sake of like, okay, even if that player was able to keep a poker face during tribal at that moment, that would also be good TV to me.
Well, here's the thing that there's been previous survivors that have complained. I cannot remember her name, but she was very cagey in her talking heads and kind of
Sure.
really was vague, like almost
Right.
politician answers where she
Mhm.
didn't tell you anything she was thinking. She kind of got edited out of that season. Like they didn't show her talking heads that much. And she was like, yeah, I forgot part of the show is to be entertaining and open up, not to, it's not necessarily a game of poker. you have to let the audience in those talking heads in
Right.
order to engage the audience. If you're just going to sit there and go, I'll never tell every time there's a talking head, yeah, you might not make it into most episodes until you get voted out, unless you make it far, then they have to go back and edit you in. But it's not an entertaining talking head to just be like, I don't know.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope what, like, you are right. I hope the whole to reaction thing like is what's actually happening. I
But
know TV works, and I don't know.
yeah, it's possible. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah. At the same time,
I hope that, but the magic of television is weird.
well, so here's the other thing, right? Like when I watched Tribal back the second time, from front to back, everything that happened, when I watched it back the second time, I was like, oh, that tracks. Oh yeah, yeah, that username tracks. That makes sense. Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep, yep, yep. I don't know. Anyways, that was a lot of yups, but it made sense. I saw it
Right.
in a different way, and yeah.
So yeah, after Tribal goes live, we go straight to commercial break. And that's when I got really excited, when everyone stands up and starts huddling around, and
Okay,
it gets my juices flowing when I see a Tribal like that,
we're comfortable with that.
everything's out the window. I love it.
I don't want you to talk about your juices.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, fair
One
enough.
of the things, so again, back to the individual TV thing, one
Mhm.
of the things that I was really interested in and I thought was kind of cool is like, well, I don't know if it comes with the episode, uh, kind of deaf sometimes, so I have subtitles on a lot when I watch TV products, but how like you could hear everyone whispering and they subtitled it, and it was like the intimacy of everyone like holding each other, whispering in someone's ear like they're about to kiss them at the high school prom. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to like, and like the subtitles, and you could kind of, it was like they, not only did they have a camera for each individual person, but they had a mic that was somehow able to capture a
Oh,
lot of stuff that people
the
were
survivors are
whispering.
mic'd up. The survivors are mic'd up.
Are they?
Yeah, they have a mic on their person. They have to
Sure.
carry. They have a little tiny box that's like, strapped onto them somewhere in their bathing suit or something.
But like
Most of the time, and when you're at camp, you just have a camera guy and his mic's good enough. But yeah, survivors are mic'd up. They've got mic packs. They've got little tiny, like, it's attached in their collar or something, or
okay.
like before they go to Tribal, producers step in, they yell cut, and they mic up the survivors and then go, now go on in on our cue, and they go action, and that's when the survivors walk up to Tribal Council.
I'm just saying the sound to do with the live tribal was, and the editing and like I just watching it, I would just had this sense that like the sound crew must have been working their absolute
Oh,
butts off on this one. Do you know what I mean? And I was
yeah.
like, this is legit.
Cannot argue with that. Yeah.
And they did such a good job. And like the way like the subtitles and the sound and like how they captured everything, it made me feel like I was there. Do you know what I mean? And then right after that, as I'm having that sensation, which is what made it so good, Jeff's like, wow, man, I have the best seat for this. It was like, dude, they planned that, and like, and kudos to the team, man. Like that was rad. Like
that would be, I'm not gonna lie, like when Jeff said that, I'm like, you really do, man.
yeah,
Like, I would love to be sitting there. Just like, I don't even have to be in Jeff's seat. I don't need to count the votes. Jeff can do it. Just put a little tiny block of woods just off camera. I'll sit there and I'll just watch it. Oh my god, that would be so amazing. Oh my, when everyone just stands up, because it's always telling there's some people that don't stand up and they're like, what is going on? You're being left out of the conversation. That's what's going on. Um, it is very interesting, because you start to see kind of the spider web of connections with people, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
right, like Ricard will talk to Shan, but Ricard won't talk to Erica, but Shan can talk to Erica, because you know what I mean? Like, it's weird how some people kind of buddy up and have these little
Yeah.
tiny conversations. Oh man, so good. Okay, so then we go to commercial. We come back from commercial and we
Yeah.
get the puzzle of the episode. You
Okay.
want to take a stab at it?
I'll take a stab. I'll take 3. Okay, hold on.
60 seconds on the clock.
Oh.
Okay, this is dead air. So just say what you see.
I see like a circle with an X in the top and a V. So like a down, X down, X down. I don't know. It looks like a wizard, maybe a princess. No, wait. Oh, no. It's a bride. Okay, hold on. Okay, so bride minus Bur is Ide. Exide. Okay, hold on. Exidal.
What's the next picture?
Oh, there's. Hold on. Where's there another picture?
Oh, underneath the bride. What's the picture? Like
Oh,
it has a.
I don't know, man. Is
Like
it a?
just take the bottom picture. The picture minus the letter. What is that?
Oh, uh, idol.
Okay. So what does the border around everything actually look like?
Stitching.
Pocket.
Pocket. Oh,
Idle in pocket.
idol in pocket.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
nice.
I
Nice.
know. The pocket thing kind of threw me off too,
I was.
but as soon as I was like, what is that, bridal? And then and then I was like, oh, minus the ER, idle, and I'm like, ball, and that screwed me up. I put all in there twice, and I was like, okay, idle, all, no. I yeah, took me a second too, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
Love those.
they are good.
That's it was one of those things where when the season started, I was like, game within a game, okay, fan engagement, sure, blah blah blah, PR, and then I really am excited to find those every episode now and try and solve them really quickly. I love them. I'm hooked, especially when they're not like, some of them have been pretty clever. Like the one that was like, "Can I have your jacket?" I was like, "Yes." Bring back an old Survivor like joke. That's fantastic. Okay, so after they come back, everyone's whispering. Were you surprised as to kind of what happened here, as to who was gunning for who? Because there was a
Well,
lot going on here.
first time round, yeah, I was bewildered, surprised, and just kind of like slightly drowning and trying to tread water. The second time, it made a lot more sense. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this was really the tribal that you had to watch twice to really, at least for a fan of my experience level. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still an intermediate, Survivor fan, right?
This is
So,
this is a tribal where lines were drawn in the sand. Like people rallied behind, their flag and put their foot down, and it was just what side is gonna come out on top. But
I
there
heard
was a lot of names being thrown out there, though.
I heard a lot of like, okay, just so and so. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I heard that comment about, like, man, like, I don't know, like 25 times. It's like, okay, just sit. Okay.
So
Okay. Do you know? Okay, just.
so essentially it boils down to, there was a group of people that still wanted to vote out Evie,
Yeah.
just because, let's just stick with the plan. We decided this. Don't let Xander throw us off. Let's just do it.
Right.
Because Xander's holding the idol. Oh, right. We forgot to mention the biggest point in the episode. So
Oh, the fake idol play.
yeah, so apologies to people listening.
Well,
Right before the commercial break, right before the tribal went live, what essentially happened was Xander says he's going to play the idol for Evie, and he pulls out an idol. And then we talked about Liana's advantage. She
we
reads
talked
it
about
out.
the advantage. So she decides to use it. She asks him the question, and he's like, no, but you can have this fake idol. Which was awesome. I like the play. I mean, you and I talked about this earlier this week. Like, for me, being a newer fan, I didn't really understand like how this thing worked, and I was surprised it didn't say like the person had to have like the advantage or the idol on them. but apparently that's a little bit of a Survivor thing that I was like unaware of until I talked to my brother Dave. But I was kind of like it in that mind frame. Like to me, like it kind of takes a little bit of the power away. Do you know what I mean? It's like you got to like catch somebody, you know, who said they had to use the bathroom in the hallway and they don't have a hall pass. So do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
but
I got you.
I mean, I get it. I guess that advantage would be overly powerful. It'd be pretty OP if you could just. But I was, anyways. I was surprised at the outcome. It was a pretty sweet play, though. If you go back and watch early tribal, you'll see how Evie and Xander kind of set it up, played it up, right, made it look right, kind of led her, you know, to believe, so that when she took her swing, it was a whiff. Um, they do a little flashback, right, of Xander making the idol, the 3M kind of, and it's like in black and white, and you can see the pre-planning and stuff. Um, Pretty strong play by Xander. Evie as well. Um, yeah,
So
and
yeah, we just
and
just
maybe and maybe even Tiff for seeing
well, hold on.
herself
Like
seem
we're
more villainous than she really is.
oh,
I don't
true. Yeah.
because I was kind of always like, oh, I don't know if I trust Tiff, but she kind of held the line and kind of helped make this play a little bit too, right?
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another thing I just want to point on. They've done it a couple times this season. They did it when Nasir found the third idol with the three phrases thing, like confused as a goat on AstroTurf. That was a flashback. They did that where the other two phrases got said, and Jeff's like, "Okay, we're gonna go," and Nasir's like, "Jeff," and then it
Yeah,
flashback. So
yeah.
they've done a couple of those like Ocean's 11 kind of flashbacks where it's like, here's something you didn't see that changes the game, and we're showing it to you now. They've used that trick a couple times in the editing, and I appreciate it. It's a very good fan reveal, I think. So everyone's whispering. Liana doesn't have her advantage. So, like I said, there's people still trying to vote out Evie. There's people that have switched just straight up Plan B, and we're whispering Sydney's name. And then there's Deshaun, which seems like what Evie, Sydney, and Xander were planning on, or
But
Tiff.
here's the other thing, though, is like Deshaun knows because he makes this comment and he's like, hey, can I would just stop the bus for a second here? Just because it may or may not be my last say, I wanted to say that was a good play behind me, right? He knows.
Game respects game.
He knows, but he knows his head's on the block, right? And yeah.
Well, he plays pretty hard. He's one of the bigger name players, I would say, this season.
Who, Deshaun?
So Deshaun, yeah.
Because in the first two episodes, we were kind of like, I mean, I remember you saying it. I don't know, but in the beginning, they didn't edit him in that much. We were kind of like, who is that guy? He's pretty quiet. This doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of come up the last couple. Maybe that's purposeful, right? Maybe that's a little like that's his arc until he gets voted out, right? And that's I don't know. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
people have opinions about this. Maybe you guys agree with us, disagree with us. If you
Oh yeah.
are even looking at your TV screen or computer screen or cell phone screen and watching this podcast, thank you for coming. This is our podcast. Welcome to it.
That's the other thing. Yeah, I also forgot to say, please like and subscribe. Standard YouTube
Please like it.
vocabulary there.
Please.
I forgot on last week's episode when I said I was going to do a poll up in the corner. I never went back and did it, so I apologize. Hopefully, people just posted in the comments what they thought the answer was, like who is right or wrong. But I'm actually going to do it this time, and I'm actually going to put a poll up in the top corner right now. Do you think the advantage that Liana had was good? Like, should they bring it back? Yes or no? Very simple. So I will be putting it in the top corner. Like to see what people think. I think they should, but it might need to skip a season. I think they need to bring it back eventually, but it shouldn't be a regular thing. That's my opinion. Anyway.
Yep.
So the last huddle of the tribal, it was essentially Danny, Erica, Liana, Nasir, Heather, Shan, Ricard, and Deshaun all talking on one side, and you have Evie, Tiff, Xander, with Sydney right beside them, begging to be kept in the game. And then the big group goes, okay, break, and they all break, and everyone sits down, and Jeff's like, time to vote.
And coincidence, no coincidence. At the end, when it was like, "You guys good?" Shan was like, "Yeah, no, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good."
Yeah, trying to be like, right, everyone, right, like we're
Like,
good. No one stand up now. We've been here long enough. Like that might have been like a 2-hour travel.
it might have been. Just saying, like, Shan's still in my top 3. Who? Okay, let's talk about this now before we get the outcome of the vote.
Yeah.
Who's in your top 3? Well, okay, let's do the vote first, and then because
Okay. So yeah, because we don't want to say yeah. Okay. Anyway, so we get to the vote. Everyone votes. We all sit back down. Jeff says, ready to tally the votes. And then we get this hesitation from Tiff where she turns back to Xander and goes, should I play the idol or use the advantage? And Xander's like, no, we're good. We're good. We got him completely fooled. Don't worry about it. They're all voting somebody else. It's all good. Evie's fine. Don't worry about it. And Tiff's like, really? And Xander's like, yep, don't worry about it. It's all good. So they start counting the votes. And oh man. Okay. So I'm not going to reveal who voted for who, but it essentially boils down to there is 3 votes for Deshaun, there is 4 votes for Evie, and there is 4 votes for Sydney. The last piece of parchment gets pulled out of the voting urn, and it says Sydney.
the which person voted out of Survivor 41?
7 person.
Not on the jury.
Not on the jury. Oh, no, she would make the jury. Oh, no, she wouldn't.
Because
technically...
she makes a comment after about being glad that she's not on the jury. There's like a little talk.
That's right. Her voting confessional. Yeah. What she said. I'd like to believe I'm not on the jury, so I don't see their. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read this out. This is actually a really good quote. The worst case scenario happened. Had I not played the shot in the dark, things would have gone differently. But it shows me my instinct was right. Oh, you damn self-absorbed. Okay, and I like to believe I'm not on the jury so that I don't see their faces ever again. And I'm just glad I'm leaving because whatever I have outside of this game is 500 kajillion times better. So that makes me feel good, even if it's super immature. Oh, Sydney, I hope you never come back. Like, kajillion? She says kajillion and then goes, I know I'm being mature or immature. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, but okay. But like, to quote Eddie Murphy, if you've been starving for a bit, you have a Ritz cracker, it is going to be the best freaking thing you've ever had.
That's a good point.
If you're starving, like, dude, if you've been starving without a shower, without brushing your teeth for 14 days on a beach while, feeling completely adversarial and like looking over your shoulder emotionally and physically, like all the time while starving, anything is 500 kajillion times better. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Like panhandling for change on a city street with like a warm blanket, you have enough money to get coffee from Timmy Ho's in, an hour or two. That's better than starving on a beach, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like everyone on Survivor would just take a bowl of rice at this point and it would seem like steak. Like,
right?
Yeah. I can't. Realistically, the only food challenge that has happened so far has been the merge feast. They've never gotten food as well. No, there was a fish for a reward.
A very blue fish.
I noticed that.
It made me wonder, like, are those blue fish available here?
I don't think so.
No.
Maybe special order. Check Amazon.
I want to eat Survivor fish.
I want to eat Survivor fish. There we go. So I mean, she did play her shot in the dark. What do you think of that? A very kind of fizzle shot in the dark, like 1 in 6 chance. It was kind of like, Could you imagine if
I wouldn't
if she
say
unraveled that envelope and it said safe? Could you imagine? That would be insane.
that would be insane. I wouldn't say it was very fizzled. It was just fizzled.
Yeah, it was just sort
It
of
didn't.
like, I don't know,
It
the
expresses your
kind of
disappointment, though. It means you wanted it to go.
it would have created so much chaos. I like the
Yeah,
same disappointment you felt over Liana's advantage
yeah,
is the same kind of disappointment I kind of felt with the shot in
fair.
the dark. Like, could have been better. Could have been better. Like,
So
I feel like the shot in the dark is going to really be good when you get down to 6 people and there's like one Yasa member left and it's like just Xander and he's, surrounded by Luvu. And I feel like that's when it's going to get really good. But tonight showed me that, yeah, it could not. It could just be a
I,
blank.
I can agree that Sydney can come off as overconfident. Do you know what I mean? But I really think, I mean, she was right. She did see the writing on the wall. She did take her shot. Do you know? Um, the vote was so close, so close.
Yeah.
Um, now, mind you, if you, anyways, like, um,
What do you think was Sydney's downfall? Because I think it's the fact that Luvu didn't have to go to tribal ever. So there was never lines drawn in the sand. She never realized where she was top to bottom in the hierarchy of her tribe. She was just left to her own imagination and she was like, I'm fine. Right? You go to tribal once and you see your name written down once, you start to reevaluate your game. You don't see your name written down at all, I don't think you reevaluate. You just sort of think,
it's
keep going.
it's a social game.
Right,
You
but
know?
but Luvu never really had to play the social side of it because they never
No,
had to
but
vote anyone out.
you have to be astute enough to you have to be reserved enough to see if you're rubbing people the wrong way. You know,
Yeah,
um, I mean, we had the fishing highlight where she fancied herself Aqua Woman, right?
yeah.
Talking the fish,
Mermaid. She
right?
called herself a mermaid. Yeah.
Mermaid, which is better. Um, and like, uh, I really think Sydney could be like a season one Cochrane or a season one Sebastian.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean? Capable, confident, but maybe too confident and not enough empathy.
I'd put her. We'll see if that's the description. I would put her maybe up there with maybe a Spencer
Oh,
from right. The second time Spencer came
wow.
back, he was like, I
I don't know who
realized I was a
Sebastian
robot.
is.
So
I actually meant to say Spencer.
oh, okay.
That's,
Okay. I was like, who's
I
Sebastian?
apologize for being an old man. Yeah, Spencer. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, when
right.
he came back, he was like,
Because
I realized last time I was a robot. I'm
well,
gonna ask people what their kids' names are now. And I'm like, yeah,
well,
yeah, Spencer, maybe do that.
well. I think both of them tried a little bit too hard to, you know, like what's because like stand-up guys, good guys, but both a little bit nerdy. I'm also a nerd, so like no judgment. Do you know what I mean? But I
Mhm.
think they went in strong with the logic of like, I'm gonna be hard. I'm not gonna let people in too much. Like being a sensitive person like myself, like I think that would be something I'd be thinking too, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna do my job here. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna kind of be social, but not too. And I think everybody has their kind of if you think about like the old school stereos, that EQ curve, right?
Yeah.
Of the bass, the treble for your personality and how you interact with other people, and you might have to play a couple times to adjust where the dips and falls in that curve are with your personality versus like this other large group of people that you're trying to fit in, get along with, but also make sure you get other one of those mofos gone before you. It's a bit of a dance. I
Oh
can
yeah.
only imagine, right?
That's why I goddamn love Survivor. It's one of the
Yeah.
most unique shows on television. Um, so I mean, yeah, we kind of talked about everything we had. Oh, you still wanted to ask me a question on top threes?
Okay. At this point in the show, who's your final three now? Shan's still in there for me.
Okay, I'm gonna give you two top threes.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Oh,
give you
oh,
one with my heart and one with my brain.
love it.
So my brain is telling me Shan, Ricard, Tiff. That's kind of what my brain is telling me. Like, that's what I think Shan's making it there. But my heart would be Shan, Xander, Nasir. That would be my heart. The final tribal with those three, one from each tribe, all pitching how they got there would be a dream final three for me. I would love to hear everyone's argument. I think it'd be great if
Okay.
the final three had one from each tribe. It's my heart talking. That's my heart.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you on the brain side. Okay. Would you say Shan,
Shan, Ricard, and Tiff.
Card, and Tiff? Yeah. I
Right? They
Tiff,
would bring Tiff along. Tiff is coming along. Tiff is a goat. Tiff is making it to that final three, maybe, and not winning. That's what I think about Tiff. I don't think she's winning.
oh my God! Shut your dirty mouth.
I don't think Tiff can win.
Tiff is not a goat. You take that back.
Okay. I can add another poll up, but
I don't.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Please. let's do this. Okay. I agree with you, and
Yeah.
I think you said Shan, Tiff, and Ricard.
Yeah.
First time. Yeah. And notice how you said Tiff second. She's got game. She's got talent, and I think you know why she bugs you. She bugs me too, and we know why. But all I'm saying is that she's got the like she outed Liana's advantage, essentially rendering it neutral. Like, was that on purpose?
I don't think so.
Are
I
you
think that was
sure?
Shan's. I think that was Shan's mistake, not Tiff's.
Tiff's been. I've seen little clips of her like trying hard to like. Okay, guys, we got to watch out for this. You know, like she's aware. She may not always be right, but she's trying to like.
I think Tiff can
Trying to
read
wax on, wax off. If you ask.
right. Tiff can read people very well, which I think is why she's still around. Is
Yep.
she's very good at reading people, but I think she has that little bit of Sydney in her where she worries and overcomplicates things. So, like,
but she's better at the guilt trip, which, as much as I'm not in love with, is a useful skill on Survivor.
let me tell you how Tiff wins the final three. Is if it's Heather and Heather would have to be with her, and maybe Evie.
Well,
Heather and Evie and Tiff wins final three. But you put her, like Tiff and Shan, on the same final three, and you think Tiff has a shot? That's crazy to me.
I'm not saying winning the game.
Right.
I'm not even saying people are going to vote for her. I'm just saying.
I'm saying she's going to make it to final three. I just don't think she can win. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I didn't say. I just asked you final three. I didn't say who's going to win the game.
No, but I was calling Tiff a goat. I think she's going to get brought to the final three. I don't think she's winning the last challenge and choosing who's going with her. She's getting picked because she doesn't get any votes. That's what I think about.
Well, I mean, you mean from 4 to 3?
Yeah. I think she's getting taken to the final three, not deciding who goes with her to the final three.
Well, I mean,
which is a huge difference. It's a huge difference.
Depends on how many people Shan and Ricard make hate them on the way.
Yeah.
Because Shan and Ricard, I think, are capable of making people mad at them.
But yeah, the only reason I say Shan and Ricard in the final three with my head with Tiff is, as much as I think they're going to turn on each other, I don't think they will. I really don't. I think they're BFFs till the end of the game. They might tease it, but I think Shan and Ricard are blood brothers at this point.
So my heart's final three: Xander, Evie, and Heather. Or Xander, Evie, and Nasir.
Oh, okay. For a second there, I was like, Heather, I'm gonna riot.
Why?
If Heather makes it to the final, I mean,
well, there's always
she'd be the Luvu goat. Yeah, but the heart isn't supposed to pick a goat. My heart didn't pick a goat. I just picked my three favorite from one each. Well, but just sort of like a fantasy.
Well, yeah, but I've
Yeah,
come
it's
to
all good.
realize there's going to be somebody. So I'm just like, who's my favorite two characters and who's my favorite goat?
Okay. If that was your logic, makes sense. Your
Yeah,
math seems super sound now that you said that.
yeah.
Favorite goat? Yeah, Heather would be my favorite goat. Good call. Yeah, I get you. Now that I've seen your work, I'm
Like
double
we're
checked
picking
it. I'm
World
like,
of Chell
yep,
thing,
you
right?
you carried the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
good job. I got
Well,
it.
you,
Yeah.
you got main trait, second trait, and then your third boost or whatever. Well, that's 20. But do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you get two boosts and one major trait, or
Yep.
however you want to. Yeah, I don't know how to break it
That's
down.
a bit of a deep cut for any NHL fans out there. We also play hockey. Um,
Not real
which, by the
hockey.
way, I'll mention that. We'll mention that in the next episode.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
any other final thoughts on the episode? Like, what would you give it out of 10?
Oh gosh, like a 9.5, dude.
Yeah, I
It
was thinking
was
9 too.
um the whole thing was good. Like they've done a good job of building up everything to this point. I think one of my favorite things about the episode was just like everyone's faces going through tribal, and then them being mic'd up and like the hearing some of the whispers, like okay, this,
Best
it was dude. It,
best
it made
episode
me
of
it
oh,
made me feel like I was there. Best episode of this. Well, it was a good episode. I don't know, like it probably was the best episode of the season, but there were also really good episodes this season too. So like it's tough. Overall, it's been a great season, like way above average. You know, definitely top two or three that I've watched so far. I guess I need a list of like what I've watched. So when people are like, "Really, the best one you've watched," and I can qualify that statement with what I've actually
right.
watched, so you know, people don't hate me. Um, Also, like if you guys are into this, like maybe email us with like your top five ever seasons, and I'll see if it's something I've watched. If I haven't watched, and I'd be happy to watch it, and like we can do side casts, me and Dave about stuff those seasons. We'd really like to get into it with you. So, yeah, drop us a line.
So I'd give the episode a 9. I would probably put it second best episode of the season because I'm not gonna lie, I got really excited when all three of those phrases got said at the immunity challenge. That
What
was that was so good, right? I sent you the text like best episode so far this season ever, and it's like
that is.
this is number 2, but that one was so good. I wanted to text you like it's finally happening, but I was like, no, he'll get it, he'll figure it out. I'll just say best episode ever, period, send. But I was like, I wanted to be like, it finally happened. But yeah, I didn't want to give it away.
We
So
need like a generic, statement. It's like I don't know, something like the opposite of a safe word. To be like Excalibur.
oh, there we go.
To be like
We'll think of something Survivor related. If anybody has any ideas, feel
how
free to
about
leave
just
it in the
Troubadour?
comments below. Um,
Troubadour. No.
that's where we're probably going to call it. Again, please like, share, and subscribe if you like listening. We will be back next Sunday with episode 8. Did you want to hear the title of episode 8?
Yes, I do.
Betrayed.
What? New
Yeah,
words?
I
Yes.
know, I know. So
Thank you.
someone
Okay,
says my betrayed is going off or something like that. Like
dude,
I can't wait to see it. It should be good.
dude. Okay, everybody, right now, stop. Google it. Is it on Urban Dictionary already? If not, it should be. I don't know who takes care of these things, but Urban Dictionary, betrayed art, Survivor reference.
Yeah.
Go.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're gonna get out of here, Survivor fans, and we will see you next Sunday.